Hey guys, and welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe, I'm joined by Nathan, and today we're going to be discussing Pixar movies. You know, they've been going on for a while, little 3D animations and shit. Well, I went heavy on the shit there, didn't I? Hey Nathan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Quite excited because, Pixar and Disney films,
Yeah.
they're hand in hand. They're like right up there. For most of us, 90s kids, that's a pretty big memory,
Yeah.
that's a pretty big part of our childhood. So very excited.
Yeah, man. It's one of those ones where watching a Pixar movie was like kind of like, oh my god, it's like 3D. Back in the day, like this is what we grew up with.
Yeah.
And it was like it kind of felt like a big deal, like, because it was like
Well, it was a big deal because it was the first, like, Toy Story being their first official film. And like I believe it was one of the first 3D animated films. So like it was a big deal.
It was really.
It was all like cell animation back then. Drawn on the fucking like see-through plastic and like layered up, hand drawn and hand painted. Like that's what we had for the longest. We're old.
We are. It's weird when you look back and like, oh yeah, this film came out when we were kids, and we're like, oh crap, that's a while ago. It's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago because Toy Story came out in 95. November 22nd, 95. So like I was, by the time I think that was like the US, maybe probably the US release date.
Yeah,
right, because I remember watching it when I was in cinemas when I was like 4 years old.
I don't even think I saw it in cinemas. I think I just watched it on VHS.
Nah, dude, that's legit how you know I'm old, right? I watched Toy Story 1 in the cinema as a kid.
I don't even. Oh, I can't remember.
In a cinema that doesn't exist anymore.
I wonder if it's the same cinema that I'm thinking of.
I mean, I would have said it, but I am about to dox myself.
I don't remember watching I remember watching some of these movies in cinemas, like of the Pixar, like the early Pixar movies, like Bugs Life. I remember seeing Bugs Life in cinema.
Yeah, I saw that in cinema for sure.
That was like one of my favorites. I love that.
Bugs Life is amazing. I still love Bugs Life. Like it's such a solid film.
This is like the era as well where like McDonald's toys were at their prime as well. I feel
yeah.
Like, where you get a Happy Meal, and it'd always be to promote the latest like Disney film or Pixar film.
Yeah.
And I remember more specifically Toy Story 2. I remember the Toy Story 2 McDonald's toys you used to get because it was like is it Lieutenant Zurg?
Yeah.
Or something? Yeah, like
Emperor Zurg.
Emperor Zurg, that's it. Lieutenant Zurg.
Someone's playing Pokemon and getting it wrong.
Zurg, I just realised that. That's what that is. Nathan, edit in Lieutenant Zurg. Somehow it's like the combination of Emperor Zurg.
It's just going to be Zurg with a Raichu next to it or something.
I just want to see Lieutenant Zurg's face on Lieutenant Zurg's body. Or vice versa. Whatever you decide. I want to see that. I want to see it. There you go.
Let's see what I come up with.
But yeah, that was like when like Pixar films were really in their like prime for a kid as like my age. I love that sort of that hype that was behind them.
Like, I mean, talking about the McDonald's toys, I swear I remember I had like a Slinky Dog.
I think there was, weren't there? That might have been, yeah, I remember that.
It was a shitty plastic spring, not like a real spring.
Yeah.
And I swear they put suction cups under one of the feet, or like the back foot or something, so you stuck it to something and you were supposed to just stretch it.
Yeah.
I know this isn't really arguing the case for Pepe, like, oh, the McDonald's toys back then were amazing, but like, that's the one I remember.
But they're free, that's the ones that is the thing though. Like, it is they weren't, obviously they're McDonald's toys. At the end of the day, they're not going to be the most amazing thing, but like they were there. Like, I remember what was it? There was like a Rex one as well. Like, was it the T-Rex? Like,
yeah, Rex. I think Rex was just like a normal.
It was just literally just a toy dinosaur. I'm pretty sure it was just a toy dinosaur. It might have opened its mouth at most, or it had a movable tail, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but then like, if you think about it, like that's perfect though, because it's Toy Story in it. So like, if you were a kid and you got Rex from McDonald's, you'd be well hyped because you're like, I literally have one of the official toys from the movie. Like, it's really smart to do that. Like, Rex really didn't have to be more than just a plastic dinosaur.
Yeah, like it's not like sort of like Woody or Buzz, for example, where like you expect a bit more from them from a McDonald's like from a toy anyway. Not unless.
Those ones you have to be fancier, like way fancier. Although saying that, I never had a Woody. Like I had Buzz as a kid. Like I got one.
I remember having Buzz as well. Like that was when like there was like certain points where like there would be certain McDonald's toys in stock, and you'd be like, oh, which one am I going to get? And it would be a surprise of which one you got.
Oh, I didn't even mean McDonald's. So I mean like a proper like. I think I still have it somewhere in my house. Like a proper like the actual Buzz Lightyear.
What little? Oh, see, I had I remember this because I went to America at the time, or it might have been Disneyland Paris. It was some sort of Disneyland. But I got a Buzz Lightyear spaceship.
Ooh.
And it had like it had the little buttons and you press it and it does like a whole little theme and like it does like Buzz Lightyear to rescue it, like so it had that, but it had a compartment which popped open, and you can put Woody and Buzz in there, so it came with Woody and Buzz,
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
and you could sit them in there, and that was like my favorite thing as a kid. And I remember my cousin saw it, and she loves Toy Story at the time as well. And she was like, "Oh, I was," and they ended up getting one as well. I think it's just because it came over in like Disney. You know, there's like Disney stores and stuff in the
Yeah.
UK and that, like, so it's still available, the same sort of thing. But God, that was like God back in the day. They had like 3 sound options.
I just remember like as a kid, I never asked for it and I got this Buzz. And then I remember being promised like, parents, aunties, uncles, they promised like, oh, we'll get you a Woody to go with your Buzz. And it's like, yeah, never got it. I never got it. And now I'm an adult and I'm sort of like, I don't think I would have enjoyed Woody as a toy as much.
Yeah.
Like in the film, yeah. But like as a kid, Buzz is great because he's like, a plastic figure that stands and like poses and moves, right? But Woody would have been like a proper old school sort of half plush
boy,
plastic
yeah.
kind of thing. And also, when you're a little kid, you kind of expect things that are impossible.
You do, yeah. You get the hype of it.
So I would have had this Woody and been like, "Come on, Woody, talk to me, come to life, come on." And obviously it wouldn't, and then you'd just be
Yeah.
like depressed, and then Woody had sat in a drawer somewhere, never to be touched again, like never to be played with again. Ironically, like
I mean, at least he still would have had this. Like, realistically, he would have had the string at the back, the pull string, and it would have been like, "There's a snake in my boot." And
a kid. Me probably would have like snapped that string at some point anyway, and then it would have just never worked again.
No, that's upsetting.
And I probably would like had that happened. I probably would have cried or something.
But no, that was a good age of Disney. I say good age. It was the early age of Pixar films.
I mean, Pixar's still good, man. It still makes really solid films.
Oh yeah, it still is good. Like I think, but like the thing is, right? Back in the day, for me, like we've got like okay, a bit behind the scenes. We've got a list up of all Disney Pixar films.
Yeah.
Like from like start date to end date, and the first 6 Pixar films I absolutely loved.
Okay, see, they're good, but I'm not as big a fan of the 4th, 5th, and 6th film in the list.
Wow, okay, so 4th, 5th, and 6th from Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles. Like, so that was between 2001 and 2004. I loved Monsters Inc. That was a great one. I absolutely love Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc. I always feel personally is overrated. I really don't enjoy that one as much. That was to me, especially as a kid, that was the first kind of miss.
Really? Wow, okay.
Yeah, and to this day I still don't enjoy Monsters Inc.
That's mad. What? Okay.
It's an alright film.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's as good as people claim it to be.
I think, I don't know, I just love, as a kid, obviously, I just love the whole monster aspect. It's like, I love the idea of them, like, they've got, like, their own doorway to scare kids and stuff like that.
I mean, like, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I do think that some aspects of the film are cool. I just think the overall package is not as amazing as people claim.
That's fair, man. Okay, yeah, okay. I just love Monsters. I love going back to watch Monsters Inc. just for what's her face, the slug reception lady or whatever.
Oh, Roz, yeah.
Roz, yeah. Wazowski. It's just that's the only. I don't care about the rest of the film that much. No, I do care about. But like that one Wazowski is the thing that just stuck with me forever in Monsters Inc. And there's also that meme of fucking Mike where he's like sitting on a bar stool. It looks like he's doing karaoke or something. It's like a meme. It's also that's kind of stuck with me a bit. Yeah, like I love Monsters Inc. Finding Nemo, I kind of liked as well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Finding Nemo.
Okay, like again, solid film. Just I didn't enjoy it as much. It may also be
Yeah.
because around the early 2000s was, like probably around preteen phase. So partially my opinion might have been like corrupted.
You were 10. What were you, what were you what did you just like get? No, I don't care about Pixar films anymore.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
10
like
years old,
I think it's like partially like you when you get
I'm
into that
watching
point. where
Dragon
you-
Ball now, Mom. I don't
Not,
care
it
about
might not
talking
necessarily have
fish.
been exactly that, but like when you just get to a certain point and you're like, it's kid stuff. Well, I'm not a kid
Yeah.
anymore, even though you clearly are.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You kind of like want to be a bit old. You want to like act a bit old or whatever.
Like my opinion of Finding Nemo is like changed over time because
Yeah.
the older you get, the more you can relate to certain things. But like as I've gotten older, I appreciate that film more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like I used to actually straight up just hate Finding Nemo. I used to be like, this is the worst one. I don't understand it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think Finding Nemo was a bad film at all. Bear in mind, I haven't. I'm saying that the three movies you just mentioned, which is Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, and Incredibles. I love it. Also, just before I get into this point, The Incredibles is probably one of my favorite Pixar movies.
Okay.
Did you? And you said that one you didn't really care about at all, or not really not care about, but
Yeah, it's good, and I don't mind watching it. But again, when you say Pixar films, it's not one that comes to mind.
wow,
Like
man,
I fully understand that I'm in the minority there because like most people,
I would have thought that if any of the Pixar films.
I know, right? It's superhero stuff. Like
If any of those Pixar films, I feel it's not right up your street. Sure, then it's like
yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But it wasn't.
Wow.
Like me personally, the best film Pixar's made is to me still Toy Story, original Toy Story. Like that's my
Toy Story. Yeah, I mean it's undeniable. Toy Story is like iconic.
that's my favorite of the favorite. But like basically all the Toy Stories make up most of my top 5. So
Yeah.
okay, not Toy Story 4. I never watched it, and I don't think it should have existed. They should have stopped at 3.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Toy Story 4 was fine. It was like again, it didn't need to exist. It was there, and it was a good movie if you don't look at the previous 3.
Yeah, except it's hard to because the previous 3 were like such big landmark films in people's
100%,
childhoods.
yeah.
Yeah, so again, I enjoy The Incredibles. If it's on TV and I've got nothing else to do, I will watch it. But like, I don't seek it out and I don't think about it often.
Man.
But I do understand it's a good film. And again, the premise you'd think would be right up my alley. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't click.
Mate, it's just like I just get such like if I ever watch Incredibles, it just takes me back to my child. You know, like in Ratatouille, another little reference.
Oh, mate, I love Ratatouille.
You know Ratatouille, where that critic tastes the food for the first time,
Yeah.
and then he gets the nostalgia flash. That is me when I watch Incredibles 1. that is me when it's just like it all just comes flashing back all those things I used to do at the time. Because Incredibles was like it was a time where like I was playing like Dragon Ball games at the same time. It was a time where I was also getting Harry Potter Lego and stuff. And I think it was like one Christmas where like I think I got The Incredibles on DVD or something like that, or I watched The Incredibles in cinema. It might have been all around that area. And like there was so much cool stuff going on for me at that time as a kid. Like what was that? I read. You remember that series of Unfortunate Events? Remember that series? Like I was reading those books at that time as well. Like all of those things. It was like the holy quadrinity for me. It was just like, oh, look at these four things that are staples of my childhood in 2004.
See, I think that's partially why I might not have enjoyed The Incredibles as much, because I didn't actually watch it when it first came out. I didn't watch The Incredibles 1 until I was like 14.
Oh wow, okay, so fair few years down the line then.
Yeah, like I didn't watch it till way later. Like way later.
Wow. Oh man. Okay, yeah, that's the thing I can.
So like I don't have childhood nostalgia for it. I watched it when I was a teenager and was like, okay, cool, yeah. Superhero film.
Oh man. Okay, fair. But the funny thing is about those three films, the Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, and Incredibles, the sequels for all three of those, I did not like. Okay, bear in mind, I actually haven't seen sequels for Monsters Inc. or Finding Dory.
I've seen Finding Dory. I haven't seen Monsters University for the obvious.
Yeah, because if you don't fan the film,
yeah.
The idea of Monsters University kind of like put me off a little bit because it was a prequel, and although I was kind of excited to see it, what was it? Monsters University came out in 2013, I believe. Yeah, 2013.
Yeah,
and it like at that point, I don't think I still had the hype for it, and as the idea of a prequel didn't really appeal to me either, so I just haven't seen it. Finding Dory again. I just missed the trick. I missed the boat on that one.
I will say I didn't watch Finding Dory of my own volition. I was like with my little cousins and they wanted to put a film on and that was what was put on.
Was it good?
It was all right.
Yeah, that's the theme of these sort of things. Like.
It's weird because it's basically a very similar story. Except this time it's Dory, and now Nemo and Marlin are looking for Dory instead.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a few more, like, crazy hijinks and stuff, you know, because it's Dory. Yeah. But it was basically the same sort of premise. Fish goes missing. Fish's family goes to look for Fish. Fish happens to be across the fucking planet again or something, and then they have to go on a journey, and it's like an A-B part story how Dory escapes to find them and how they find her and their journey there. Like, it's very samey, and I understand why it was made. You know, people like Dory the character.
Yeah. But
personally, I'm like, it didn't need to be made.
I can understand that. Like, I feel that way about those three films though. Like, I saw Incredibles 2 last year, so even though it came out like in what was it like?
I never even watched it.
2018 that came out, Incredibles 2. I only watched it last year, and it was an okay film. I think it was a little bit. Didn't match up to the original as much for me, but it's still an okay watch. But again, with those sequels, they didn't need to happen.
Loads of people really loved Incredibles 2. Like, I know some people who are like, oh, it's better than the original.
Nah, not for me. I think, to say it's better than the original for me, I'm like, nah. I can kind of understand why it was good. I can say it was a good film, but I don't think it was better than Incredible. I don't think it was better than the first one.
Okay.
Again, it's a film that doesn't really need to exist. It's the same way that Finding Dory didn't need to exist. Same way that Monsters University never needed to exist. Those good films are good standalone.
I find that there's a few that are like that. Like, those aren't just the only ones. It's like, for example, on this list, I don't know if you've ever seen The Good Dinosaur. Came out in 2015.
Yeah. I watched it on TV, like, one Christmas.
I watched it again with little cousins, but I felt like The Good Dinosaur was just Pixar's version of Lion King.
Yeah, I can understand that. It was like a film that was just there.
It's very similar story beats. Like, spoilers, I guess, if you ain't seen this film from 7 years ago. Yeah. But, so basically, the main character is a little dinosaur. Like Simba's a little lion, right? A baby lion. And then the dinosaur's dad gets
yeeted off a cliff.
Yeah.
It's a landslide, isn't it? Like, something like that.
I can't remember. Like, I just remember his dad dies, and immediately I was like, oh, this is kind of like Lion King.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it differs after that because it's like, oh, the little dinosaur is taking the human caveman kid to the humans or whatever.
Oh, Ice Age.
Kind of. I just sort of felt like it was the same sort of thing, you know, like...
Yeah, I get you.
Kid experiences thing, loses parent, has to then sort of grow up and take on some sort of adversity. I was like, it felt like Pixar's version of Lion King without just being like, it's Lion King.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I think Good Dinosaur was a film that I don't think many people actually like that much.
Yeah, it was a very like safe middle ground film. Like it was
Yeah.
okay at best.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, I can see that when I watched it. Again, I watched it on TV, so I was like, it was one of those ones. But for me, I don't know, it's just there. A film I have seen. I think I would have rather seen a lot of other films. There's a lot of these films I haven't seen on this list. More later ones than earlier ones, to be fair. Like, so, for example, I haven't seen any of the Cars films.
I've watched the first one and half of the second one when I worked at a cinema. The first one, I actually really like the first Cars. It's a very solid film. Like, it's really good, but that might also be because I like cars. Like, in real life, I like cars. I've always liked cars. So as a little kid, like, I would learn to identify brand names and makes and models. So, like, it was just basically the same sort of thing. I watched Cars when I was a little bit older, because it came out in 2006, but I actually didn't watch it again until I was like 14, 15. But I was like you with that Ratatouille moment. It like brought me back to my childhood where I was sitting there going, oh, what is that? That's a Ford, whatever. Like I would sit there and like identify these cars like I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's actually, the story's not bad. It's basically, you know, like a reverse kind of like man out of his depth kind of thing.
Okay.
Because, you know, normally it'd be like, country boy goes to cities out of his depth. But, like, it's the opposite. No, it's Lightning McQueen is the big, flashy guy, you know, he's on top of the world, and then he, like, gets stuck in this fucking backwater town.
Okay.
And it's kind of him learning not to be such a fucking, like, egomaniac, in a way.
Okay. I get you.
Like, it's basically him learning that he's not the hottest shit around.
Okay. Fair. I mean, I feel like I want to say I will check it out, but I probably won't if I haven't checked it out for.
Yeah, I mean, by this point, it doesn't really matter if you check it out or not. But like, I thought it was still pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
Second and third ones, I didn't actually understand why they made it.
Yeah. So...
The second one, like I said, I watched half of it because I worked at a cinema at the time, so I've watched pieces of it. Even then I was like, I don't understand why it was made.
Okay.
And then they made a third one, and I was just like, why?
I don't think the third one did that well.
Who's asking for that?
Wasn't Planes a film?
Yep.
That isn't on this list, is it?
No, but it's like a spin-off. I think it's a Disney Pixar. That's why it's probably not on the list.
Okay, fair.
Because like that's a whole separate category of things.
Yeah, fair. I don't know how Planes did, and again, I haven't seen. If I saw Planes and not Cars.
I think I might have seen part of one of the Planes films, but you're not missing anything.
I didn't imagine I was, Dave. But yeah, what other Wally's on here.
Oh, what a great film. I love that film.
I loved Wally. Wally was like such a cute, like sort of like it was like I didn't see it in cinemas. I saw it on TV.
No, I didn't see it in cinemas either.
But it was a good film. I like that. Like considering it was like I think I might have missed the start of it. I feel like I've seen probably like 3/4 of the film. I haven't seen the first bit, but I remember watching the later bits, and it's a feel good one, isn't it? It's a nice sort of...
The thing is, it came out in 2008. I didn't watch it till I was like 16.
Yeah.
And like even at 16, I was like, man, what a really good film. Like Ratatouille and Wall-E, I watched in the same year. So I was about 16 when I watched them.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, these films, like, I don't know, you know, like...
That was my thoughts as well, yeah. I was like that.
The posters, the trailers, I was like, nah, I think Pixar's had it. I think they're done. And I watched both of those films, and I was like, oh my God. What an idiot I was. These are such good films.
Ratatouille is I love Ratatouille, and like that was...
I don't know how anyone wouldn't like Ratatouille and Wall-E. They are, like, right up there. They are such solid films.
I think it's like sort of the thing, like you see the posters and you're like, do I really care about seeing this? I'm not that fussed.
Yeah.
But it is like that's the thing. These Pixar films, even now, a lot of them still hold up. Like there might be some hits and misses here and there. Like I think those two films solid.
I'll say this. I loved Wall-E so much that actually for one of my projects at uni, I actually designed a whole game based on the very similar premise to Wall-E.
Oh, okay.
it was even the same like little square trash compactor kind of robot. It's not exactly the same, but I designed a little trash compactor robot, and he was supposed to save the world from pollution.
Oh.
But it was before. Well, Wally is cleaning up the world after everything went to shit.
Yeah.
My game was designed to be before, so you're trying to help prevent the world from getting to there.
Okay,
But like, that's how much I like Wally. I fucking basically designed a whole game that was Wally.
What was it called?
Ecobot saves the world.
Okay, yeah, Wally. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, no, those two films are solid. You didn't see Up, did you?
No, I haven't. I've only seen the first 10 minutes. Basically the part that most people talk about, and then the rest of the film feels like it's unnecessary.
Okay, that's my problem with Up, because I feel like the first 10 minutes of Up are absolutely heartbreaking.
Oh, it's the strongest start to a fucking Pixar film ever.
100%. It's like, as a kid, well, I say as a kid, I must have been like, what was it, like 16 when I saw this. And I saw it in cinemas though.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh my god, this is hard. Oh my god, this has actually made me feel things. As a teenager, that took a lot. I was like dead to the world into teenage stuff.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I watched that. Funny enough, I watched that when I was 17. The first 10 minutes, 15 minutes in media studies A level.
Really?
When we were supposed to write an essay for it.
Oh wow. Okay, I don't remember doing that because we were in the same things, weren't we?
Well, we were in the same course, but we're in different classes.
I don't remember doing that. I didn't do that.
Yeah, I watched that sequence.
Yeah.
And was asked to write a short essay on it.
God.
Like, it wasn't counting towards any grade, but it was like for practice. Analysis practice, yeah.
No, it's just a standard essay, yeah.
But like, again, like Pepe said, 17, I was emotionally cut off. Like, I was dead to the world. And like, not to get any more like into my personal life, but like a lot of shit happened when I was 17. And like, so I was definitely like emotionally dead. And that film was like, that part of that film made me almost cry on the spot.
It's emotional, man.
But obviously like 17-year-old, so I didn't want to cry in class.
No, but it like everyone everyone that watched those first 10 minutes of Up are just like, oh my god, that's heartbreaking. Like this is like, how can children watch this? It's terrifying.
Oh mate, yeah. Like if someone told me they didn't feel anything when they watched that, I don't think I could talk to that person anymore, because I'm like, you are just soulless. You have no heart.
I think that's like really like for its time, it was like that was hard hitting cinema there.
Yeah, and like you'd never expect a Pixar film to do that. Like, okay, yeah, Pixar like tackles some stuff for kids, and like you won't realize until you're a bit older. But that one was just like, oh my god, that wasn't even like subtle.
No, that was like in your face.
Yeah, that was right there. Like, you have to deal with that.
Yeah, that was like, if that was a Pixar, they do the Pixar shorts.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you get them on DVDs where it's like, oh, okay, it's all like 5-minute animation or whatever. If they release that as a Pixar short, I think that'd be award winning. That is like amazing stuff. But
that would.
My problem with Up though is that although the first 10 minutes are absolutely heartbreaking, it's like, oh my god, it's great. The rest of Up is very meh. It's nice. Yeah, I guess like, what was it? Is it Carl, the old guy?
I think so. Again, I don't know. I didn't actually watch the rest of the film.
I think Carl's the old guy, Russell's the kid. Apologies, the other way around.
No, I think you're right on that.
But like Carl's story, he's got a good motivation to do stuff, but the rest of the story around him, and it feels good at some points, but I don't know, the whole story of Up just doesn't. It just falls a bit flat for me. The first 10 minutes are great. The rest of it is a bit meh, in my opinion.
I think that's why I never bothered to watch the rest of the film. Was because I asked people, like, is it worth watching? Because I was like, that first part was really good. Basically, everyone said the same thing. Like, yeah, that first part's like the best part. And then the rest of it's like, okay. And I'm like, oh, so I don't need to watch it. And most people are like, yeah, you can skip that one. I'm like, okay, then.
It was, yeah, it is spot on. It's like, yeah, the rest of the film isn't great compared to that. That was a good one though. Like, it is a good start. It's a good start. But then there's like some other ones on here. Like, we're talking like sort of getting into the 2010s now.
Yeah.
Where it's like Brave, for example. Did you see Brave?
I again watched it with little cousins, so I didn't fully pay attention. I think I've probably only actually really paid attention to like half the film.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It is literally, it's an alright film for me, yeah.
I mean, I feel like the reason people know it nowadays is for the meme of the character.
What was the meme of the character? Just Scottish.
It's just that catchphrase. If you could change your fate, would you? Because she's Scottish, isn't it? The whole thing is set in like ancient Scotland or something.
It's very Scottish.
And it's literally just that. Like I feel like people just know it for that nowadays.
Yeah. I saw Brave when I was in uni because one of my friends was obsessed with it. Or obsessed with like Disney, Pixar in general, like all Disney stuff.
I mean, understandable.
And it was like I watched it, and that was like one of the films I watched. I was like, glad I didn't pay to see this. Like, there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's a solid it's a solid story. But for me, it doesn't speak personally. I'm just like, okay.
I mean, like, was it a Disney film? I think it was, but
It feels more like a Disney film. Like,
no, I meant I was gonna say Brother Bear. Was that was a Disney film, right? Or was that?
oh God, Brother Bear, Jesus. I think that's Disney.
I feel like that was a better version than Brave,
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
especially because both of them turn into fucking bears.
Yeah.
But I felt like Brother Bear was a better telling of that kind of like whatever.
I can't remember Brother Bear's story, you know. All I remember is the song written by Phil Collins.
I just remember I enjoyed it more.
Okay. I remember the story of Brave. And it is thinking back at the story of Brave, it's better than I give it credit for, actually. It is alright. I was ready to slate that shit, but I was like thinking back, actually remembering what the story is. It's alright. I think that was the start of like Pixar films telling like, hey, family is like strong. Like you can have like rough family, or like you might not be on like the best terms, but you can get better, and you can't. It still means something, and I feel like they kind of followed that a lot more in their later films as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, and we'll get into that for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Because we've got a few more films to go, but
You haven't seen Inside Out though, have you?
I haven't. I keep meaning to see that. Like,
That's a good one. I actually really like Inside Out.
okay, it's not to say I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the whole thing in one sitting.
Okay.
Where I work, they played it for a little while. So I have technically seen the whole film, but in lots of random different sections. So I've never sat
Okay,
there
yeah.
and watched it as one whole thing to piece together what's actually going on. I know the premise, and like I know little bits, but I've never watched the whole thing.
I think it's one of those ones where like it's one of those like Pixar films. I sat down, watched it again. Must have been at Christmas time or something. Like I feel like I watch half these films at Christmas time when it's on the BBC, and it is like,
You know what? I feel like most people do because like that's just what happens. They're like
yeah,
they're on TV and you've got nothing else to do.
it is always that.
Not to say that that's the only time to watch Pixar films, but like
But it is. It's always like at Christmas, like here's the big Pixar film for the kids to watch on BBC, and it is always like, oh no, the one that came out 2 years ago or something like that. I remember I watched Moana. Again, like technically it's Disney. Is it Disney Pixar? I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, but I watched that in God, it must have been 2019, like probably like 2 years after it came out. I love that. That was sick. Again, it's not on this list, but
I love that, but I also watched that on an airplane.
oh, okay. No, the best way to experience Moana.
Yeah, I watched it on a plane in 2017 on my way to Japan. So. The first time.
Like, again, Inside Out, I watched at Christmas time, and I actually really enjoyed it. I stuck with that one. It must have been on like the same weekend that The Good Dinosaur was on, because I watched The Good Dinosaur in front. I was like, meh. Okay, I don't care. And then I watched Inside Out, and I was like, "Oh, I like this one. This one's actually quite good." Like, it didn't like. I think there were supposed to be like emotional ties in there, like, oh, it's supposed to play on your emotions or whatever. But it didn't trigger me as much as something like Up did. But it has kept what we mentioned earlier with that family. Like, oh, family, like, you do care about family deep down? Like, they're always there for you, even if you have your struggles. It plays into that quite a bit. So I don't know, obviously you haven't seen it, so take what you will from that.
Again, I do sort of know parts of it, and you're right. That one is heavily in the sort of like getting to grips with your family unit and how you all sort of fit into a bigger picture rather than like being individuals.
And like it's like interesting because like with Inside Out, that it's got these like these five little emotion characters that are in your head, but every single person has them as well. That's the funny thing about that. It's like, oh, like even though it's like focused on this one girl, you see like the dad's got those five emotions as well. The mum's got that five emotions. Like people around them have that sort of similar thing.
It's a really good premise.
It is a really good premise.
Like I think it's a cool premise. It's just yeah, for whatever reason, I just haven't got around to it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Right, there's other ones on here. Like this is okay. Have you seen Coco?
Oh mate, I loved Coco. Oh my god, what a film!
Okay, so I have only seen the last half of Coco.
You haven't? Oh,
I haven't seen the whole. Literally, this is the reaction that I get from everyone. By the way, if I say I haven't watched Coco in full, everyone's like, "Oh my god, you need to see it!" And I do need to see it. I do need to actually watch this film because I've seen the second half of it, and I feel like my experience may have been slightly tainted now because I know that I need to experience the full film to get the full picture of it.
you know the important parts, but you don't have.
I don't have the setup.
The thing is, though, I wouldn't say that it ruined. Okay, you might not enjoy it as much now.
Yeah.
Like you might not have the same visceral reaction like I did just then. But I still think, yeah, give it a go. Like you already know the film's pretty good from what you've seen.
Yeah.
So now you just need the context. If anything, it'll just make sense.
I think so, yeah. Again, it's been like a couple years since I've seen it, or like a year or two. So, I kind of feel like I remember bits of it, but I need to actually watch the full thing to get the full picture.
Especially because like that block we just went through is a lot of like we didn't see it, very like middle ground films. Coco was a return to form.
Okay.
Like that, a lot of that like mid 2000s, like the 2010s ish in that list, we've picked out two that were really well. Like there's one we talked about that was really good, and we didn't mention Toy Story 3, but let's face it,
Yeah.
Toy Story 3 is like one of the best. So it
Yeah. I feel like so the three Toy Stories have been. I don't think there's been a bad one between them. So
exactly. So like it's goes without saying, but there's a lot of films in that whole section that are just sort of like whatever.
Yeah.
And then Coco, seriously, for me, was such a return to form. It was the first one I saw the trailer and was like, I actually want to go see that.
Yeah.
And it's got great music. It's got great theming. It's like, you just get behind the vibe of everything. It's really like beautiful and colorful because it's Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, the Mexican holiday. Like, it's just really, really good.
See, this is the thing. Like, I always feel like with Coco, right? Like when it was advertised and stuff in 2017, I feel like it went really under the radar. Like during the theatrical release, it really did. But everyone I speak to about it says, "Oh, it's a great film. It's a great film." Like, why at the time wasn't it that big?
I don't know. I think maybe because most people didn't watch it in the cinema initially.
Maybe it didn't. Like, maybe it's the UK audience as well.
I don't know. Maybe it's the UK thing as well. I don't know. But like, I think most people saw it afterwards, and yeah, I would definitely say at least after the fact, dude. That's Coco is easily in my top 10.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I will watch it eventually for sure.
Again, just for some context, it will also say that Coco is another one of those like family stories,
yeah.
like family orientated stories. But considering the theming of the film, it works better because it's about Day of the Dead, which is about appreciating and you know showing respect to your ancestors. So it kind of makes sense that it'd be about family.
Yeah, yeah, it goes with that theme. But yeah, God, okay, yeah, I will watch it. It's definitely growing up my list, my never-ending list of stuff.
I mean, that's just everybody nowadays, isn't it? Like with the amount of media we have to consume, like I would be surprised if there's anyone out there who's like, oh yeah, I don't have a backlog of anything. I'd be like, you're a liar.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you have like a Netflix or a Disney Plus or like a Crunchyroll or an Amazon Prime, you have a list. You have a list of things you haven't seen.
Just like YouTube, you might not be conscious of it, but like everything, there's always a list, right? Even if you don't have subscription services, if you're keeping up with a TV show week to week, that's a list.
Yeah.
Like,
this is the thing that it's like you just look at it and you're like, oh, okay, there's so much media you can consume. There's always going to be something. Even though you have access to it right now, you can be like, oh yeah, like I just never got around to watching that. And like regardless, that is one of your things on your list that you need to watch. And it's like,
yeah. Right. So Did you watch Soul? Came out in 2020.
I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. That's also another like really good film.
See, this is the thing. Like, okay, so there's a period of 2020 to 2021 of films that I just haven't seen any of them purely because this is when COVID happened, right?
Yeah,
So like literally March 6th, Onward comes out. Never saw it.
I never watched it. I have no interest in that one.
Again, yeah, same here. It was Chris Pratt and Tom Holland as like the main cast of it as well. And I don't know, I didn't even see a trailer of it. It just didn't appeal to me for some reason.
I saw a trailer, I think constantly on YouTube. I just wasn't interested. I think it's like a story of two brothers or something. They like run away or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
That should tell you everything. Like,
Yeah, Clearly, neither of us have had interest. If it is worth checking out, just let us know in the comments, I guess.
Yeah.
There's that. But Soul, again, came out during COVID at a time where Disney Plus was a thing.
Yep.
Probably like the first straight to Disney Plus movies, I'd say. Am I right in saying that?
I think so. Yes. And man, what a great film to watch at Christmas.
Is it?
I watched it the day it came out. That Christmas.
Oh God, yeah.
December 25th, 2020. Me and my family, we got up, we ate some breakfast, and we put that film on.
Good. So it's worth it. Yeah, you'd say check it out.
Oh, dude, especially because of what it's about.
Mm.
At our age, it's incredibly relatable.
Okay.
Because the film is about someone who has a dream and then gave up on their dreams. Kind of. They took a detour, but they still have the hope.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go through. Like, I kind of don't want to tell you more because then.
Don't tell me more then. Okay, it's a shame that they can't include in the discussion, but I do want to.
Because, like, otherwise it's like telling you the whole film.
Yeah.
But it's basically about, like, trying to find what you want to do in life.
Yeah.
It's about, like, pursuing your passions and stuff. It's a really good film. And seriously, it was so relatable. Especially at that time, like you said, COVID, where everyone's trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got time to think about what you wanted to do with yourself at that point. It could not have come out at a better time.
Because this is a film that I remember before COVID happened. That's when they started putting trailers out for this film. And I think it was supposed to be a summer release. I feel like it was supposed to be out then.
It got delayed, if I remember correctly.
It got delayed like to hell. And I remember like loads of when it came out, everyone was saying, "Oh, it's worth go watch it." And it's just one that like the only reason why I couldn't watch it because at the time of it was released, I didn't have Disney Plus.
Ah, fair.
I only really got Disney Plus like towards the end of last year, if not like in January.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm just doing stuff. Like, it's one of those ones I probably should watch it. Like, it's.
Oh no, I definitely Coco and Soul, highly recommended films.
Okay.
Again, like a lot of these newer ones are okay, and these two are the strongest out of like Toy Story 3, Soul, Coco. They're the strongest out of this like later 2000s lineup.
Yeah. Okay. If you put it on the same level as like Toy Story 3 and like Coco.
I seriously, Coco and Soul, they're up there with Toy Story 3 for me. Like they are really, really good.
Okay. Damn. Okay then. I'll definitely check out. What about Luca? Have you seen Luca?
Yeah, it was alright.
Oh, okay. What's the premise of Luca? What is that? Because I see it advertised, but again,
it's basically two like mer kids, like as in like they're like fish people, mermen, and they want to live like humans.
Okay.
So they go out of the water, and it's a literal fish out of water story.
Oh, okay.
They help a Italian little girl, like form a team to do like a triathlon or something.
Okay, interesting. Not where I thought that was going whatsoever.
It's weird. Like it's the local town event or something for all the kids, and you can like win prize money, and she needs it for something. I can't remember. But that's it. Yeah, it's basically like these two literal fish out of water, and then making friends.
Okay, fair.
It's all right. It's an all right film.
Is it something you think, if you watched it as a kid, do you think you'd be more like engrossed in it?
I probably wouldn't have liked it as a kid either.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I liked it more because I'm an adult and I'm a little more forgiving.
I'll tell you what it is. Like, this is the thing with me. It might be a little bit hypocritical. I haven't thought about it too much. This is just a thought that popped into my mind now. But like the idea of fish films, right?
Yeah.
Are very like for me, it's mostly miss, right? Because I don't think there's been any fish films that I kind of like that much apart from Finding Nemo.
Okay, I like Shark Tale.
Shark Tale was not a good film, Nathan.
Look, I saw it as a kid or like a younger kid, you know.
The only
I saw
selling point for me was like, oh, it's Will Smith voicing it. Because at the time, like, still Will Smith is quite a cool guy.
I'm not saying it was. I'm right to say that it was a good film, but like that's what another one I liked.
Yeah, what was there? There was another one. What was it? Do you remember Help I'm a Fish? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I hated that film. I saw it in cinemas.
yeah, I didn't like that film. I watched it on Cartoon Network, I think.
It was on. Oh god, that's how.
I think it was way after it came out, and it was just one of those like, oh, we're putting films on today, and that happened to be the film.
That film just. I think it's kind of tainted fish films for me. I feel like anthropomorphic fish is talking and stuff like. I don't know, water-based films. Like for some reason, fish films just kind of don't do it for me.
Fair enough.
Finding Nemo was good, and I did like Finding Nemo. I think it's the only exception, but not rating the fish films that much.
Fair enough.
There we go. I might check out Luca at one point. I don't know if I will.
Again, it's not one I recommend.
Yeah.
It's an okay film. Watch it if you've got absolutely nothing else to watch or you feel really bored.
Yeah, there's gonna be a while until that happens.
But it's yeah, I don't think it needs to be. It's not a recommendation for sure.
Okay, fair.
It's a decent film, but I wouldn't be like, oh, you gotta watch that.
Okay, then. Well, we'll talk about the most recent release then. They came
Yes.
out. Turning Red, because I have literally just watched that this morning.
And I watched it on Friday.
What did you think of it?
I thought overall the film was okay.
Yeah.
However,
Mm-hmm.
to me personally, it was probably the most relatable film Pixar's ever made.
Okay, interesting. How so? Like.
Because the character is a first or second generation Chinese like immigrant family, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So that character is shown to have been born 94.
Yeah.
And I am also first generation of an immigrant family to another country. A lot of what she says in the beginning is how I felt at the exact same age.
Interesting. Okay.
Like, it's weird how accurate a lot of that is. Like, there were just little things that I would see in the film and be like, fuck, I know that.
Yeah.
Like, I lived that. Like, her being like, oh, I'm 13, I'm a grown-up. I felt the same way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also felt exactly like she did, where you don't want to disappoint your parents. They want you to do your best, but they put pressure on you in weird ways.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, again, whilst the film is okay, I don't necessarily feel like it needs to be recommended and, like, people should see it.
Mm-hmm.
As a Chinese person or growing up as a Chinese kid in a foreign land, it was incredibly relatable.
Okay. Do you think that's like what? Do you think Disney, well, the Pixar, like picking up on this more like relatable content, like seeing like China being represented in this way? Do you think it's positive then from that? Like
I do.
No, it wouldn't be. Like, imagine if it wasn't. God, yeah.
Pixar used to be relatable when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Because it's things that adults realize that their little kids were sort of doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Toy Story is exactly what you do as a kid. You pick up your toys, you play, they come to life to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this new Pixar style is like more relatable to people in like certain people in general.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad that we don't like certain films because we can't relate, because it's not our story, right? It's not a story you've lived.
Yeah.
Like Soul, I thought was amazing because it was incredibly relatable to me at the time as, you know, someone who was trying to figure out what they wanted to do in life as well.
Yeah.
Turning Red, I think it's incredible how realistic it was to being a foreign kid growing up in a different culture.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously to me it spoke out more because, again, it's the exact same cultures almost, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing they're doing this because people... You might learn something, you know, like I watched it with my mum and even she sat there and was like, God, a lot of that is so real.
That's right. It's good that like they're actually sort of doing that representation then, like because I feel like this is the thing. Like I feel cinema, like a lot of people say, "Oh, what it's woke cinema," right? This is the thing that like the people on the internet say, "Oh, it's woke cinema. Is this wrong with it? You don't need this." I think it's great that you get like representation of like communities you don't know about. Like, well, I didn't know like much about it. I just saw it. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
The thing is, like, it's great because it broadens horizons.
Exactly.
Again, like, just because I felt that way and you didn't, but now, like, by saying it, you watch that film, you sort of get a better insight into how me and many other people like me grew up.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of really small details in there that are incredibly accurate. Like, it's one small detail I picked up on, but I laughed so hard. And it's not even funny, right? Is when she gets in her mum's car.
Yeah.
And her mum has that weird bead seat cover. I literally haven't seen that since the 90s. But every Asian person had that in their fucking car in the 90s. I saw that thing so often when I was a kid that looking at it now in my late 20s, I was like, oh my God, the nostalgia. I can't believe that thing. They put that in there. That is so accurate.
Oh, that's great, man. Like, it's so cool that like I don't know, there's even little things like that. There's
I mean, it was also like crazy relatable because like I figured out later on when they were chanting and stuff at the end of, like towards the end of the film, they were also speaking Cantonese, so it's the same Chinese I grew up speaking. So like
I was like watching that, I was thinking, I wonder what they're actually saying, like what they're chanting in it.
Yeah, it was Cantonese. Like when me and my mum were like sitting there really listening because we were trying to figure out what they were saying. I still don't know what they were exactly saying, but I know they were speaking Cantonese.
Okay, that's really cool, man. Okay, that's the thing, is I watched the film and I like, because obviously I'm seeing it from a story point, like as a person that doesn't like, I know bits about the culture, but obviously not as much as you would do. It's, I thought it was a decent film. I think it's a good story for what it is. I don't think it's like the most groundbreaking Disney film.
No, it's not.
Oh, Disney film, sorry, Pixar film. But I thought it was decent enough. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing they've put out. Definitely not.
Oh, no. So it's far from it.
Got some good comedy moments as well. Like, it's sort of like, as you said, it has that relatable factor for even people like in their, like, just going into their teen years. It has that relatable thing.
Oh, yeah, because it is cringy as fuck.
Yeah.
You know exactly how cringy your life was at that point, and that's how crazy relatable it is as well in that sense, like Pepe saying, because some of the stuff they're doing at 13 because they don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I was probably doing shit like that too.
There's all stuff like what was it, like the music stuff, like the poses, and like just dumb stuff you do in school. It is like, it's quite like, it's cringe, but it's like, yeah, we would have done that sort of stuff. Like,
yeah, you know exactly that life because you probably did some of that too.
Exactly. Yeah. It's cool. It's like a nice, relatable sort of thing, and the animation's quite funny in it. I like it.
Oh, I really love this, like the animation in it, like the art style. It kind of reminded me a bit of like Into the Spider-Verse, where it's kind of like 2D, 3D, but it was like a cool cell shaded look.
It had like a little like comic book vibes occasionally too. You know, like I think it's like towards the end of it, and like what was it? May's red panda is heading towards the other red panda. And it's like kind of like doing like a downward spike.
Yeah.
And then, but like there's all these comic book lines around the edge of the thing. I was like, oh, it's different than you would see from like the rest of these, like, I don't know.
You know when May does that like headbutt?
Yeah.
I said to my mom, I think someone on this team might have liked Dragon Ball, because I was like,
that's
kind of
literally
remind me of little Goku, you know? I was like, Goku used to headbutt people a lot.
It's like kind of like, or you know when Gohan just like goes for rabbits, like that kind of vibe. But yeah, no, I thought it was like a decent film considering. Like, I don't think like I'd be like going around saying, oh, you need to watch this film. Like, it's decent. I quite like it.
No, but I still would have, like, I wouldn't fully wholeheartedly recommend it and claim, you know, it's the best thing ever. But like, I would tell people, yeah, watch it. It's pretty decent.
Yeah, I agree. But before we close this episode off, obviously we've got one more Pixar film to discuss, and that's Lightyear, which is coming out in June 17th this year. What are your thoughts on it? Because we can't go much apart from the trailer for it, really. But,
I will watch it, but I cannot get over the uncanny valley. It creeps me out a little bit.
It's
It's too semi-realistic.
100%. This is the thing, like it's like we so used to this Toy Story like vibe with 1, 2, 3, and 4, I guess as well, because it's still
We don't talk about that fourth one.
But like I don't know, with Lightyear, it's a one where I'm like, ooh, do I don't think I like this. And it's one I'd probably will, if it's on Disney Plus straight away to watch and I don't have to go pay to see it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
I'll watch it. But I don't think I'll be down the cinema anytime soon to see this.
Yeah, I'm incredibly dubious, and also I don't know how I feel about it not being Tim Allen.
Oh, it's not, is it? Who's voicing?
It's Chris Evans.
Well, you meant the British Chris Evans and not the other Chris.
No, not that. Not that one. Captain America. Captain America.
Captain America. For anyone that doesn't know the Chris Evans we're talking about, David, just put a picture of Chris Evans on screen.
Yeah.
Compare the other Chris Evans.
British
It's
radio host.
Very,
also called
very
Chris
British, very British reference. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll still watch it. Like you said, if it's on Disney Plus, I'll watch it. But I don't want to go to the cinemas to see it.
No,
It's yeah, I don't know, man. It still kind of weirds me out, the visuals. And then again, just as a 90s kid, I wish it was Tim Allen. Nothing against Chris Evans. I think he's a great actor. I think he'll do a fine job.
I suppose that's why you can kind of get away with it not being Tim Allen, though, because it is technically like it feels like this film is going to be set in a different universe, the Toy Story universe, so you can kind of get like a multiverse kind of vibe.
Did you ever, as a kid, watch the, like, I think it was straight to tape, like Buzz Lightyear film? It was
I don't think I did, you know.
It was him in, like, it was actually him, not like the toy. It was actually Buzz Lightyear, and he was like in the Space Command or Patrol or whatever it was.
Oh, I might have done. I'm not sure now.
And it was Patrick Warburton instead, I believe.
Oh, okay. Was it still Pixar animation?
I think it was just Disney, maybe Disney Pixar. It was 2D though. It wasn't like 3D either.
It was 2D. I remember the 2D bit. Yes, I remember that. Was it a movie or was it like a TV series? I swear it was like a TV series at some point.
I think it was a TV series afterwards, but the one I watched was like a movie first.
Yeah, okay.
Like an animated film.
I never saw it.
I think Lightyear might sort of be in the same, not the same, but like in a similar universe to that, where it's actual Buzz Lightyear and not a fucking toy.
Fair about. But yeah, Lightyear is
it's a thing.
It's a TBC. But yeah, that's like, we basically just gave a rundown of like all the freaking Pixar movies. I don't think this episode was going to go that way before. But yeah, that's literally our whole thoughts on Pixar.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, we didn't even touch on really a lot of like the other Toy Stories. So maybe that'll be a whole nother episode. Who knows?
I think, yeah, because there's a whole bunch of like Pixar shorts, which I absolutely love. Which you didn't even talk about.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about those. Okay, so we might have potential 2 more episodes on Pixar stuff, potentially.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about more about that. That's the thing, I don't know. Like the Pixar shorts are something that I absolutely like have adored.
I have only seen some of them,
We'll see how that goes. TBC on that too. TBC on that. Anything else you want to say, Nathan?
Nah, just go out and experience a bunch of these films. Don't even have to take the ones that we recommended. Just go out and watch whatever one seems interesting to you.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen them already, and if you have seen them already, well, good for you. You had a great life.
That's so why did that come across so sarcastic? I love it.
I don't know why, but I genuinely...
Who hurt you today?
No one. I just woke up and chose violence, apparently. I genuinely mean that, though. Like, watching Pixar films is great. Like, yeah. I have great memories, and there's lots of nostalgia. And if you also have that nostalgia, you had a pretty good childhood, pretty good like life. You know, like you got to experience some really good films.
Take this seriously. It's fine. I'm sure you genuinely mean it.
I do genuinely mean this. That's the worst part. You're just making me sound worse than I am.
I don't know. It's just about, okay, it is what it is. He does genuinely mean it, guys. I promise.
I do. I swear I do.
Right. And on that note, thank you for listening, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, watch our previous videos, and find us on all podcast platforms. The links are in the description. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.